Hello, boxing fans. I'm just talking about the post-fight Stieglitz versus Abraham. I'm only going to do a brief one because I double booked my time on the night. Didn't watch the fight live. I watched it back the next day, and to be honest, I wasn't disappointed. I'll tell you that. I was happy because it was a good fight. I didn't expect it to be so good. Abraham. He's not a mover. He can only fight non-movers. Stieglitz can move. People got to realize that he does throw out the Amir Khan style combinations, but he can move. But the only thing was in this fight, he decided to stick and just prove he's got a chin. And evidently, by the way that the decision went, that was actually the wrong decision. This fight was quite close, I thought. You know, Stieglitz, he throws out enough combinations and lands enough shots to rack up points. Abraham racks up points through his power punching. Realistically, I thought Abraham won the fight, definitely. But I'm not happy that he didn't stop his opponent. I obviously had Abraham to win in the second half of the fight by knockout. He couldn't do that. I understand he's not a great trainer. That's what I understand. Um, his power's definitely diminishing at 168 pounds because, you look at Robert Stieglitz, and if you look at his other knockout losses at 168 pounds, these are not against huge punches. Libredo Andrade obviously is a big puncher, pressure fighter. Um, he's similar in terms of what Abraham is, except he throws a lot more than Abraham. But the other opponent that he lost to, his name evades my head. Yeah, he was not a huge puncher in that fight, and he took him out. That suggests that Abraham he just couldn't finish the guy. He just couldn't finish the guy, or his chin's not as bad as they say. And I think his chin is as bad as they say, but I just think he couldn't finish him. That's the no buts about it because he finished the fight. He looked like Rocky Balboa after the fight, but like I said, he didn't win, did he? And Abraham didn't knock him out. This guy was there to be took out on a shield. When you've got a warrior's chin, when you've got a warrior's spirit and a glass chin, that's a record for disaster. The only thing was he couldn't get rid of him. It's sort of like Marcus Maidana versus Amir Khan. Amir Khan at times had that warrior spirit, well, Maidana's got that pressure and that power, but he couldn't get him out of there either. The only difference was Amir Khan did enough to win that fight. So where would I like to see these guys go from here? Well, starting with the champion, it opens up a few more doors to him. When I say a few more doors, we found his level. His level's not good enough to be at the top, but he can hold the title. The only thing is, sooner or later, he's going to lose that title. He's not good enough to hold that title against anyone decent. If I was looking for a money fight for him, I'll try and get him in the ring with Mikael Kessler, maybe Lucien Boutet. In fact, the Lucien Boutet fight looks good. He could think he wins that fight with his power. Lucien Boutet's that movement. I think that would be a good fight. We'll see where both of their levels are. Other than that, maybe Mikael Kessler. I think that fight would be a good fight. But then again, I'd also like to see Lucien Boutet versus Mikael Kessler. And I'd also like to see Mikael Kessler versus Carl Froch in that rematch. The only thing I don't seem to be thinking right now is, or even thinking about it again, Mikael Kessler versus Robert Stieglitz. That could probably happen for the WBA strap, if Kessler fights for that strap. The only thing I don't see any of these guys doing is fighting Andre Ward. The only problem is when you're Andre Ward is sometimes you can be the best guy, but you're not giving anything away, such as Andre Ward, for example. And it's going to be very hard for you to find fights in the future, it really is. So I don't see where Andre Ward figures into these guys. There's 4 or 5 guys here who are really good at world level, and they could make really exciting fights between each other. The only thing is we've got to make those fights now. Stieglitz, I think he's got to step back, take a different route. I would like to see him fight for the European strap, whoever's holding the European belt. It's James DeGale, so that would be a good fight. See if he's got it. If he's not got it, maybe it's time to call it a day, Stieglitz. Or, like I said, go for Mikael Kessler with a WBA strap. I'm sure that they could make that fight happen. George Groves is high rated on the strap that Arthur Abraham has just won. I don't see George Groves beating Arthur Abraham in Germany. for some reason, just like Dwyer said, the judges seem to like Abraham's work a lot, and I don't understand why either right now. So I don't see what he does expect, to win these points brilliantly. So I think that it will be a good idea to keep George, just keep holding back a few fights, 2 or 3 fights, hold him back. He's only young. He then maybe a year later, Abraham's had 2 or 3 defenses, maybe, then go for it and take the strap off him then. I don't see Abraham holding it for long. Like I said, any mover will beat him hands down.